Welcome to another episode of Beyond Cheers, Detective Gomez Files. I am your host, Detective Gomez. How's everybody doing today? Today we're going to talk a little about cheating. We're going to talk about the NFL and how that can affect somebody's relationship. Sadly to say, I recently read this article about Steve Smith, a former Panther, Carolina Panther, who was having an affair with somebody else's wife. And now he's in a big lawsuit because he decided to hit on somebody else's wife. And it's sadly to say that you can get sued for something like that, and it's not a good thing. So let's talk about that for a minute. You're out about and running around, and you see somebody that's just gorgeous, and you decide you want to just go for it. Well, it says here, we're going to talk about this for a second, because it's not something that you would think that would happen, but it does happen. I mean, sometimes, you're out somewhere and you see somebody else and you think, man, this girl's really good looking. I want to take a shot at her. So let me read a little bit of the story here. It says, rumors emerged in February suggesting former Carolina Panther wideout and current NFL Network analyst said that he had an affair with a Baltimore Ravens marching band member. 3 months later, Smith is being sued for those allegations. The husband of the woman who reportedly had the affair, Will Smith, suing the NFL great for $100,000 in a civil lawsuit filed Tuesday, according to the Charlotte Observer. The lawsuit, which was filed in Mecklenburg County, Superior Court of North Carolina, accused Smith of engaging in a month-long affair with a member of the Ravens marching band. Smith supposedly met the woman while filming an episode of the NFL's Most Interesting Jobs with Steve Smith on the NFL Network. Per the lawsuit, the two exchanged contact information, allegedly sending each other sexual text message. The lawsuit then alleged the woman visited Smith's hotel room in January. Smith, who also played for the Ravens, was back in town attending a Ravens playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. It says a month later, the husband posted a message accusing Smith of the affair. The man reportedly called Smith, confronted him over the alleged affair, and Smith reportedly responded by saying, "I'm sorry," during the call. So he says, "I'm sorry that it happened," and it's upsetting because it really bothered the husband, and the husband called him, and sadly to say, in North Carolina, you can be sued for what they call alienation of affection law. And it says, according to the Charlotte Observer, the law allows the spouse to sue the third party for destroying the marriage. It's also known as the homewrecker law. In order for the loss to be proven, the man must show there must have been genuine love in the relationship before Smith got involved. Smith was married in 2000 and has 4 children. So there you have it. You can be sued in Carolina, North Carolina, for getting involved in somebody else's marriage. But you got to prove that you're in love with your wife and everything was fine before he got involved. So that happened. It can happen. Some things just happen. And sadly say this happened. And, being sued for being involved in somebody else's wife, you got to be better than that, man. Sometimes you got to say no. I don't care how good it looks. Us guys, sometimes when we see something, it's like, damn, she's good. And it's so easy to say, man, I want that. Married or not, I want that. I'll pay for it. Whatever you got to do. And you got to ask yourself, in the end of the day, is it worth it? Now look what happened. He's being sued about, he may lose his job on the network. Who knows? But it just sheds a bad light on what he does in being an NFL great. I mean, he's a great wide receiver, great. And just hate to see something like that happen, If he does, have to settle, I'm sure he has the money for it. I mean, he's made millions of dollars over the years, but just puts a bad light on, this girl was in the marching band and he had to go hit on her. And she fell into it and cheated on her husband, and that's how it goes. So can you be sued? And if someone asked me, it's so funny, I was reading this article I was thinking about, because somebody asked me just the other day, Detective Gomez, if this guy is cheating on my wife, can I sue him? And no, he can't, because there's different laws for different states. So it doesn't always work like that. In Texas, it says here, can I sue my husband's mistress in Texas? And you can't. there's something called alienation of affection. And this says here in this article, can you sue your husband's mistress in Texas for stealing his affection? It says generally no. Texas states that someone cannot bring an alienation of affection lawsuit against a third party. Alienation of affection means that your spouse turn their love and affection towards somebody else other than you. Okay, so there you have it. In Texas, you can't, but in North Carolina, you can. So if you're in North Carolina and you decide to cheat on your husband or wife, I would strongly suggest you read the laws, because the third party, if they get involved with you, you may get involved in a lawsuit. And it's, I mean, you can use as in Texas, you can, like they would say here, that even though you may want to punish your spouse's mistress, the affair is also the spouse's fault. In Texas, whether a spouse is at fault for the dissolution of your marriage plays a role in the divorce. You can file for divorce based on your spouse's adultery. So you can divorce him for adultery in Texas, but you just can't get the other person involved. Now you can subpoena the other person. Now you can do that. I've done that before here in Texas, where I subpoena the other person, get them in court, and lots of times the spouse, the person cheating, tends to want to work out the divorce a lot quicker because they don't want their new boyfriend or girlfriend to get involved. So that's one way to think about it, is that, if you do catch somebody cheating in Texas, say, like, I know you're seeing John Smith and I'm going to subpoena him to court. Oh, no, let's talk about this, honey. Let's work this out. Most of the time they work it out because they don't want people to get involved, or they don't want the title of infidelity or adultery mentioned in the paperwork, in the divorce suit, because that's all public record. So a little something to think about if you decide to cheat with somebody who is married, and depending on what part of the United States that you're in, you have to definitely think about those things, because at the end of the day, it's just not worth it, especially if you're in the media like Steve Smith is. He's an NFL great. It's not worth it. Look at all the bad press he's getting. It's not worth it. Not worth it at all. And there's all these women in media, lots of them are really good looking. You just got to try to say no and do the right thing. It's just not worth it. But if the other guy, I don't know if he's going to, try to stay with his wife or not, but the most important thing, you got to try to remember that, if they're married, just try to say no if you can. It ain't easy sometimes, but you got to say no, because if not, you might have a private investigator watching you, all kinds of things watching you. It's just not worth it in the end. And you don't want to get sued, so remember that. Okay, so that's how we're going to talk about that today. North Carolina, be careful if you're out there. We want to thank today our sponsors from the podcast. And I want to thank Mr. Juan Hernandez. He's a personal injury attorney here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you've been involved in a car accident, injured, slip and fall, he's helped me, and I know he can help you. Contact him at 214-900-0000. He practices law all over Texas, so call him if he can help you. And then also we want to thank Miss Victoria Nuave. She's a divorce attorney here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're thinking about divorce, child custody, get some help from the pros. Okay, she's a professional. She's done this a long time. Contact her. Let her give you some advice on which direction to go. Okay, don't try to handle this kind of things on your own, because once you start signing papers, sometimes it's too late. So call Victoria today, talk to her today, talk to her about your situation, try to find some kind of resolution. All right, think about that. All right, also we want to thank this guy here, Mr. Detective Gomez. That's me. I specialize in infidelity cases, cheating cases, child custody, a little bit of everything, background checks. Contact me today if I can help you. 214-823-5600. If I can help you, text or call me. All right, visit my website, detectivegomez.com. I'll do whatever I can to help you. All right, remember that. And of course, thank you for being part of our audience today. And thank you for listening and watching Beyond Cheaters, the Detective Gomez Files. I'll see you next time. Take care. Be safe.
This is Detective Gomez, everybody. He'll uncover everything that you're hiding. This is Detective Gomez, everybody. Watch out, he'll know if you're lying. This is Detective